You've said you're beautiful before. For a moment, it felt appropriate. Yet there was a sense it did not fully land. Not because it was inaccurate, but because it was insufficient. Beauty is something she hears frequently, from strangers, from screens, from people who never made the effort to know her. What she listens for instead is whether someone recognizes her beyond appearance. Whether someone notices the quiet weight she carries, the strength she does not announce, the presence she brings without effort. The words that remain with her are rarely the loud ones. They are the ones grounded in honesty. Comment your location and where you're watching from, and subscribe to the channel for more talks like this. When most people say you're beautiful, they believe they are offering something meaningful. On the surface, it sounds kind and complimentary. Psychologically, however, it rarely creates depth. Praise that requires no observation involves little risk, and as a result, carries little weight. Beauty is visible and obvious. It does not demand attention or presence. The mind assigns limited value to what feels generic. What creates impact is not admiration, but recognition, the sense that something specific and intentional has been noticed. Attraction, at its core, is rooted in being seen rather than simply observed. Focusing only on appearance keeps the interaction at the surface, centered on an image the person already knows the world responds to. Attention shifts when someone notices how a person thinks, how they respond under pressure, or how they carry themselves when no one is watching. That level of observation signals awareness. Awareness communicates attention rather than reaction. From a psychological perspective, people tend to value what feels scarce. Compliments about beauty are common. Recognition of character, emotional intelligence, or presence is not. Pointing out something subtle, such as composure in difficult moments or an ability to put others at ease, reflects careful observation. That type of recognition engages emotionally because it feels personal. Experiences perceived as personal are more likely to be remembered, which explains why certain words endure while others disappear quickly. There is also a philosophical distinction to consider. Compliments centered on appearance assign value to something temporary. Compliments that address essence point toward something more enduring. Recognizing who someone is rather than how they look affirms identity rather than image. Recognition at that level supports connection, trust, and curiosity, allowing attraction to develop without force. This does not require dismissing beauty. It requires understanding that beauty alone does not create meaning. Meaning emerges from context, intention, and depth. Words based on observation rather than habit slow the moment and cut through noise. They feel deliberate, and deliberate language carries authority. People often wonder why their compliments are overlooked while others remain memorable. The difference is not confidence, but awareness. One person speaks to be heard. The other speaks because they have noticed something worth naming. When someone feels recognized, even briefly, it alters how they perceive both the speaker and themselves. The same dynamic applies to approval. Seeking language, compliments are often delivered with an unspoken expectation of response. That expectation weakens their impact. When words depend on how they are received, they lose authority and become a request rather than an expression. Language grounded in certainty does not ask to be accepted. It states an experience and stands by it. The nervous system registers this distinction immediately, even if it is not consciously analyzed. Approval, seeking language subtly places the speaker in a dependent position. Language grounded in emotional confidence communicates ownership of perspective. That ownership creates safety, and safety allows emotion to settle. In those conditions, words carry more weight. The most effective compliments tend to be calm and restrained. They are delivered as observations, not performances, and they do not attempt to manage the listener's response. Allowing space afterward reflects confidence and gives the moment room to register. Attraction is often attributed to phrasing, but it is more accurately linked to the state from which words are spoken. Words delivered from insecurity feel light, regardless of their elegance. Words delivered from grounded presence feel substantial, even when simple. The difference lies in intention. This becomes especially clear when speaking to impact rather than appearance. Appearance is easy to describe and requires little vulnerability. Impact requires attention. It involves noticing how someone affects a moment, alters a room, or influences emotional tone. Speaking to impact shifts the focus from description to experience, where connection forms. Psychologically, bonds are shaped more by emotional cause and effect than by labels. Describing how someone affects you places you within the interaction and makes the observation personal. That specificity cannot be replicated. There is a clear distinction between image and influence. Image reflects how someone appears. Influence reflects how they shape experiences. Compliments focused on influence acknowledge agency and effect, recognizing something deeper than surface traits. Many people receive labels but rarely hear how they make others feel. Emotional memory is tied to feeling, not categorization. Articulating impact offers insight and self-awareness, which tends to endure. Speaking this way requires restraint and presence. It avoids generic praise and relies on observation. It does not rush or attempt to impress. It names what is real and leaves it intact. Because it is grounded in experience, it carries authority. Compliments that address impact often feel more intimate than those focused on appearance, even when understated. They communicate that someone matters relationally, not just visually, and that they shape experiences rather than simply being seen. Attraction develops where people sense they leave a mark. Speaking to that effect is not elevation, but acknowledgement. Honest acknowledgement has lasting power. Instead of focusing on how to describe someone, consider how they change you. Address that directly. Meaningful words do not flatter the surface. They clarify impact, and once someone understands the effect they have, they tend to remember who helped them recognize it.